It would be hard right now to go on social media and not see content about Jimmy Butler, videos and tweets on how his mentality and mindset made him into one of the top playoff performers in the NBA for over the last 3 years are all over the internet. In this video, I'm going to explain that mindset by showing you exactly what the scouting reports were saying about Butler before the 2011 draft, including a special personality profile done on him that was so on point. It's hard to see how so many teams could overlook this guy when he was showing all the intangibles that it took to become the playoff beast that we're seeing now. Flashback to 2011. Jimmy Butler is playing in the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament, the PIT, in Virginia, a pre-draft camp for overlooked ball players looking to boost their draft status. Before the PIT, Butler was just one of those borderline prospects. When describing him, scouts use terms like coachable, unselfish, very good perimeter defender, high IQ. Those terms are almost like backhanded compliments to describe a guy who is not expected to add much value on the offensive end. And that's why the consensus was that Jimmy needed to develop a consistent jumper to even have a chance of being a respectable role player who added value as a defender, somebody who gave maximum effort, a glue guy. Overall, the analysis wasn't too bad. They knew he had skills and an NBA-ready body. Some thought he could be a nice early second-round pick, but not higher. And no one thought that he could be a star in the league. That's because nothing about Jimmy Butler really stood out and got your attention. But if you look deeper into his psychology, the signs were always there. And that look into his psyche was documented on the Sports Aptitude. That's a database that evaluates a player's behavioral psychology through a rating system called internal motivation. It measures certain personality characteristics that give insight into what a guy is really made of. Here are some of the categories they used. Internal motivation, self-assuredness, objective-mindedness, aggressive, compulsive, and bold, combative. Speaking on internal motivation, it says that only 26 out of 900 former collegiate and international players in the Sports Aptitude database had an internal motivation rating to match Butler's. That placed him in the upper 97th percentile of basketball players in a measure that relates to self-discipline, goal motivation, and the drive to exceed expectations. Regarding self-assuredness and objective-mindedness, it says that the database contains only 4% of players possessing Butler's rating combination. By definition, these scales measure insensitivity to criticism and an ability to act on facts and logic while avoiding sensitive feelings. Butler had an uncanny ability to take the hard truth and hear the message through the words, whereas most players would have folded, tuned out, or transferred. Regarding the aggressive compulsive personality group, it defines players as those who fight for control with a strong competitive edge and have an uncanny knack for thriving amidst chaos. Regarding the bold combative group, it says, despite Butler's status as one of the premier defenders in the NBA, Butler is classified in the Sports Aptitude database as being a member of the bold combative group, which is filled with green light ballers that have little conscience and are quick on the trigger. In other words, he's not afraid of the moment. He has no fear when it comes to taking the big shot. So, with all these positive psychological personality traits working in his favor, why did so many teams pass up Jimmy Butler? Well, in a nutshell, it comes down to sex appeal. It's one of those things about human nature. People will pick style over substance, glitter over grit, and charm over character. It happens everywhere, every day, whether it's inside the company you work for or a multi-billion-dollar organization like an NBA franchise. I mean, it's just a fact of life. The pretty girl with the shitty attitude gets kissed, while the plain Jane barely gets axed out. However, we do know that oftentimes the pretty girl ends up as the trophy wife turned divorcee with a wine addiction while the plain Jane becomes the wife and mother loved by her kids and grandkids. This year's NBA draft is in a couple of weeks. Is there another Jimmy Butler out there? And if there is, will your team have the eyes to see him and spend the pick to get him? How about your life, friend? Is there something or someone who you need to make a choice on? Are you faced with choosing between a shiny object and a diamond in the rough? What will you do, Anon? Thanks for watching the video. If you like this content, hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. Also, drop a comment below. Let me know what you thought of the video and this topic we talked about. Whether it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. And if you really appreciate this kind of content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Thanks, and I'll see you next time on The Wisdom of Champions.